Whether you're about to start IB, you're in the middle of grade 11, or you're finishing up your TOK essay, it's really important to know how to do well in TOK. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get an A in TOK.
Get an A in TOK.
Welcome to Get an A in TOK, where I try to make TOK suck a little bit less than it does. I don't know if your teacher's bad, if you hate this content, I got your back. I'm going to help you out. My first tip for getting an A in TOK is to subscribe to my channel and get my free stuff. Why haven't you got my free stuff yet? Get an A in TOK.com/free stuff. I'll give you rubrics, outlines, examples. I will hook you up completely free. Okay, so go ahead and grab that. That's my first tip, but I know that's not where you were looking for. Okay, so my first tip is that you want to treat your rubrics like a checklist. I'm going to go ahead and record my screen here. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, so here I'm looking at the TOK Exhibition. I'll look at the essay next if you just want to skip ahead. And the TOK Exhibition, there are 4 different parts of the rubric. Now, they're not normally spaced like this, but I did this in my rubric that I would love to share with you in my free stuff. And what you want to do here is break each of these into 4 writing points, okay? So you want your first paragraph to clearly identify the object and its specific context. Then go to your next paragraph. Then link the object with the IA prompt. That's what you're going to want to do. Then justify it, and then use examples and explicit references to the selected IA prompt. So if you want to just follow this completely and have your TOK exhibition have 4 paragraphs, do it. That's a great way of organizing your TOK exhibition. But what about the TOK essay? It's a little bit different. The TOK essay rubric is pretty funny, and there's a couple of hidden things that are so important. I get people messaging me all the time on Fiverr. Check me out on Fiverr. I can grade your paper. I can give you some feedback. And they ask me, they say, what do I have to do to get an A? Well, that's why you're watching this video, okay? There's a couple of things here. Check this out. The word implications is never in any score lower than an 8, okay? So if you're discussing the implications of what you talk about, that's really good. And then if you look here, evaluate and evaluate are only evident in scores of 7, 8, 9, or 10. So if you want to score an A, you have to discuss the implications and you have to evaluate your evidence, okay? So what you want to do is look at the rubric and ask yourself, am I doing this? Am I doing this? So right here, do I have effective and supportive examples? Is it supported with specific examples, okay? So you want to ask yourself, did I use specific examples, or is it, this is so funny, I graded one 2 days ago that was just completely random ideas, unsupported assertions. So when you make a claim, do you have proof? Or when you make a claim, are you saying it's true because you said it's true? Okay, so that's my first point. Treat the rubrics like a checklist. My next tip is actually not in the course guide, but it's the most important tip I'm going to give you, and that's focus on the WOK, the way of knowing, the WOK. Now, if you look at this TOK circle here, this is actually from the old course guide, and some of the units have changed, and the TOK gods at the IB, they took out the ways of knowing. Those are the things in the orange, and if you look there, what they have are imagination. This is really small on my computer. Imagination, intuition, reason, memory, sense perception, emotion, faith, and language. So these are ways that we gather information. Now, here's the thing. Just because the TOK course guide got rid of the ways of knowing as official IB language doesn't mean that we stopped using emotion to know things. It doesn't mean that people stopped using faith, although the IB would probably wish that people would stop using faith. The IB hates religion, which is also why they took out RKS, which is religious knowledge systems, okay? So no matter what you're writing about, no matter what you're talking about, one of the most important things you can do to score well is to relate the issue, the evidence, the situation that you're talking about with one of the ways of knowing. So go ahead and copy this down, bookmark this video, whatever, like and subscribe, I don't care. And you can find one of these. Don't try to find 2 or 3. Just find one that is being used in your evidence. So if you're talking about, you know, a scientist, they might be using reason to interpret what they are looking at. Sense perception. See how that works? So find the way of knowing in any piece of evidence, and you're automatically going to be talking about TOK things. The next thing is super important, and that's TOK Masterclass. If you're just starting the IB, I have something amazing to offer you. The TOK Masterclass is a full online on-demand TOK course with me Patrick from Get an A in TOK. I have funny examples. I have an interactive workbook. It's over 200 pages long. There's activities. There's a research database to get you started for your TOK exhibition and your TOK essay. So if you really want to get an A, if you want to get those 3 points with your TOK and EE matrix, get TOK Masterclass. And if you use the coupon code YouTube subscriber, you're going to save either 10 or 25%. I don't remember. You're going to save something, okay? So go to tokmasterclass.com and you can get some help with TOK. This next thing is something that I talk about all of the time. What you want to do is see, and it may not be true, but you want to see if your example, your idea, your situation, your own experience connects to the tests for truth. And the tests for truth, I'm not going to explain all of them here. You can Google all of them. These are commonly understood things around philosophy, but these are different ways of understanding and testing whether or not a claim is true. So if we're talking about, for example, the purpose of life is to get rich. That might not be true for some people, but if it's pragmatic, if it's true for you and helpful for your life, then you might say it's true. If we're talking about art and we would say the knowledge claim, the Mona Lisa is the greatest painting of all time, that's opinion. But if we were going to test it, we could use the test of time and say, well, people have believed that for hundreds of years, so maybe that claim is true. So check out these tests for truth. I'm probably going to make a video on these later. I talk about these a lot in TOK Masterclass, but if you can find a claim and test it using one of the tests for truth, that will really help you score well. Okay, the next one is really, really sad, but you have to answer the title. You have to answer the prompt. You have to answer the question that you have been asked, okay? Now, I've been teaching TOK for nearly a decade. I have only had 1 0. And that 0 got moderated by the IB, and the IB said, congratulations, Patrick, this is a 0. I have graded some just TOK garbage over the years, but they still got a 1 or 2. The only way, and I made a whole video about this, how to fail TOK. The only way to get a 0 is to answer something other than what your title or your prompt is, okay? So for example, is bias inevitable in the production of knowledge? If you have stupid examples, but they're about bias, you'll score 1 or 2. You might get a 3, okay? But if the question is about bias and the production of knowledge, and you talk about your opinion that, your brother stole your Pokemon card, and that's an example that I read from somebody, and that was totally fine, but it wasn't this one. And it's not about bias, and it's not about the production of knowledge. It's just about an opinion. That will get a 0, okay? So no matter what you're answering, make sure that the key words are all over your paper. So if I get a exhibition with this prompt number 12, the first thing I do is hit Control F and search for the word bias. I want to see bias popping up all over your paper. Then I'm going to search for the word production. I'm going to hopefully see it everywhere. And then, I might not see the word inevitable, but I would see synonyms for the word inevitable. Now, a similar one, if you're doing the exhibition, I would want one section to be all on knowledge, one section to all be on belief, and one section to be all on opinion if you're choosing prompt title number 25, okay? So just make sure it's very clear that you're answering the title, because this is the only way to completely fail TOK, which by the way means you don't get your diploma. The next thing is something that I've seen done just terribly, and I've also seen it done really well, and that's to use specific expert examples. There is no requirement. This is very interesting. There is no requirement to use any sort of research in the TOK at all. But I've never seen anybody get an A or a B or a C without doing research, okay? So what you really want to do is find great examples. You don't want to paraphrase. You don't want to generalize. You want to say, this artist did this. This psychologist learned this. This mathematician learned this way or proved this. So you really want to make sure you're doing your research. And I always suggest doing your research before you write a single word of your TOK essay. Now, related to how you get the highest score, you don't just want to make a claim and have some really good evidence. You want to draw conclusions, interpret, evaluate, and discuss. What this means, and this is kind of rude, sorry, not sorry, is you're a high schooler. No one cares what you think, okay? We want to know what an expert did. But once you bring up that expert's perspective, then we want to know what it means. Then you can evaluate what they learned, okay? So bring up somebody else's perspective, and then once you've done that research, Draw some conclusions based on that. Tell us what you have learned. That's what we mean in TOK when we're talking about analysis. This one's super important. Listen to your teacher even if they're wrong. I get students messaging me all the time saying, hey, I love your channel, but my teacher sucks because they're not following your advice. Doesn't matter. I'm not your teacher. I'm not in charge of your predicted grade. So if your teacher does anything or requires anything and you don't think they're right, doesn't matter. Even if every single video I've made disagrees with your teacher, you have to do what your teacher asks you to do. So ask for very specific examples from your teacher. Ask for very specific instructions. Do everything they tell you because they're going to get you into uni. It's not going to be me. And the last thing, if you're still wanting some help with TOK, you can get a hold of me on Fiverr. The website bit.ly/TOK tutoring will take you to my Fiverr store where I can look at your essay. I'm not going to write it for you. I'll look at your exhibition, but I'm going to give you some feedback. I'm going to grade it. I'm going to help you out, okay? It's completely ethical. It's totally fine. It's what I do with my students, but you know, teachers are poor. We got to make a little bit of money. So this is my after school job. Okay. So go ahead and get a hold of me. I've got some pretty good deals. If you message me, you know, I might give you a little bit of a discount. So get in touch with me, check out TOK Masterclass. And if you're not going to do any of that, get an ANTOK.com/free stuff will really help you out. All right. I hope TOK sucks a little bit less than it did at the beginning of this video. I'll see you next time.